Hello, Internet. Welcome to Making Money. My name's Eric, and this is your Daily Dollar, our financial segment where we give you one financial lesson every day to help you reach your financial goals. So we've talked about some very important things over the last 3 days. I know it's been so long. So we've gone over setting your goals. We talked about very basic budgeting, really getting an idea of what your budget is going to be. And then we also talked about how it's important to start right away. Now, kind of in the vein of starting right away, today's lesson is still very important, and that is don't be perfect. This is something that throws so many people off, and I know I get tangled up in it a lot too. The idea that you have to be perfect or you have to do what you're aiming to do exactly right the first time, it's one of the biggest obstacles, one of the biggest walls that we really face when it comes to any types of tasks in our lives. Some people, this is more difficult than others. Some people don't have this issue as much. Some people can just keep going, and they don't care so much about, I'm doing this perfectly or not. And that's kind of the mentality we want to get to, is that I want to do it the best I can, but I don't need it to be perfect. One thing, what is perfect? You're never going to get to a state of perfect, right? There's always going to be something that you could do slightly better. And keeping that in mind is a big helpful thing. So today we're actually going to focus on just a few things that you can do to kind of help yourself get out of that mindset when you find yourself getting too nitty-gritty in the details and trying to be that absolute perfect version of yourself. For me, because I do run into this quite a bit, I'll try to start a project and then I'll start going over okay, how am I going to do this? Start that planning process, and then I get tied up in that. I get really, again, like nitty gritty in the details, really oriented on, I want to do this perfect the first time. And for me, what I have to do is I have to stop and I have to recognize that, I'm getting too tied up in that. And I want to think, okay, what can I do instead of being perfect? What can I focus my mind on? Because in that moment, I'm focusing on trying to be the best I possibly can. So for me, what I do is I try to focus on one of a few things. So consistency is big for me. So if I say, okay, I don't need to be perfect, all I have to do is try to be consistent. I want to set a plan that I can realistically follow, something that I can keep doing without having to worry about it, falling apart after, a month or two. And for me, not consistently sticking with something is another area that I struggle with. So being consistent, something that I can plan, say, okay, it may not be the best, I'm not saving the absolute most that I could be, but I know I can realistically save this much over time. Another thing that I do is I try to stop and focus on being authentic. Because at the end of the day, when we think about what's perfect, a lot of times we're comparing ourselves to others. We're saying, we look online and, a good thing, I used to do a lot of art. I used to draw a lot. And I used to compare myself to other artists, right? You look at someone's art and you're like, oh my God, they're so amazing. Like, how are they doing this? It took them no time at all. And, there's a ton of backstory behind, how people get so good at things, right? It doesn't happen overnight. Some people are very gifted and, they don't have as much issue with learning new things, but it takes a lot of effort to get there. So it's not really fair a lot of times to compare yourself to other people like this. But if you try to focus on being authentic, being the truest you can be, then you're not trying to be that person, right? You're not trying to be like, okay, I want to be the best here. I'm going to try to start myself up in the best possible space. I want to be that perfect, right? That vision of perfect that you have in your head, right? You may not be that person, and that's okay. Not being perfect is okay. And this is something that I don't know if, society, we can get into the whole, breakdown of why perfect is such an important thing to people. But at the end of the day, you are you. And if you are true to yourself, especially when you're going on a journey, a financial journey, or, trying to do something that's going to be over the next few months or years, it's definitely something that you want to try to be true to yourself. All right. So if you are consistent and you're true to yourself, then you're achieving a version of your goals right there just by starting. And again, starting as soon as possible is huge, a lot of times when it comes to these financial goals. Well, I think we're going to have to do compound interest very soon because I'm going to keep talking about it. But yes, so those are 2 ways: trying to be authentic, trying to be consistent, trying to figure out, we'll talk about values too. Determining what your values are and then focusing on those is a great way to be like, I may not be perfect. I may not start this off the best way I can, but I'm going to start it off and I'm going to keep with it. And that is today's lesson. I hope you guys are having a great new year. I hope the financial goals are going well. I hope you guys are in a good start. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Link below for my Twitter. In the comments, if you've got any ways that you battle trying to be perfect, I'd love to hear them. And as always, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. And I will see you tomorrow with another lesson, and then the next day, and then the next day, and the next day. Love you guys so much. I'll see you later. Bye.